Right, I'm inviting our today guest and today our achiever, All India 29th ranker, Keerthi Vasan, IAS, Odisha cadre. Thank you, Keerthi. You can join with us.
Thank you so much, sir. Ravikant, sir.
Yeah.
So I think I'm audible to everyone.
Right, 1 minute, Keerthi. Yes. Right.
So
now you can. Yeah.
So it's very nice to see you all on this online platform. And during this times of Corona, this is the way in which we can interact directly with each other. So really happy to see you all here, and thank you for the wonderful introduction, sir. So today I will be discussing regarding the strategy that any young graduate has to follow in order to succeed in the UPSC civil services. So first and foremost, let me clearly tell you that there is no shortcut to success. So you'll have to go through the entire process. There is no shortcut to it. And all these the candidates who have been successful, they've been having some kind of strategy during their preparation. But the main thing that each and every aspirant needs to understand is that there is no one strategy that would work for everyone. Every successful candidate, they would have had their own strategy. That is what the examination as a process demands from each and every candidate. So you just go through the strategy of various toppers, but ultimately what is required is you should have a strategy of your own. Even the strategy which I'm going to tell today, it is not an assurance that if applied ditto in your life, it is going to work out for you. No, it is not the case at all. Every person would have their own strategy. So the first thing that you will have to do is to strategize. You'll have to fix your goal. You'll have to decide when you are going to take up the examination, and then you'll have to work towards that goal. So this is what I would like to cover today. And again, there is no substitute for hard work also. So what I would recommend is, whether if you ask me whether you'll have to work hard or you'll have to work smart, I would say that you'll have to smartly work hard. This is how every person who has been successful has been able to crack this examination. And smartly managed hard work is what is required to clear this process. So before you start your preparation, I think most of you are graduating in the next 2 years, or you would have graduated recently. So before you start, what are the things that has to be done in order to understand the examination? The first and foremost thing, you have to analyze the pattern, you analyze the examination, you understand what is the scope behind this examination, and you analyze the demands of the examination. Understand what the exam demands from you, what is required from your end for the examination. And first, the second thing, you have to decide when you are going to start your preparation and where you are going to prepare from. If you are preparing from during your college days, it's well and good. There is a lot of online coaching available these days. So you can take up any of the online coaching classes and you can prepare simultaneously along with your graduation subjects. Or if you are deciding to prepare after your graduation, if you are deciding to take a break, I prepared that way, because during my college days, I was involved in my college technical festival and all. I was the chairperson of NIT Trichy's Pragyan. So I was not able to prepare during my college days. So I decided, okay, let me enjoy the college days completely, and then once after completing college, I'll move to Delhi to prepare for a year. So like these days, there are plenty of resources available online. You'll be able to access classes online, and during the times of COVID, most of the institutes, they have started their sessions online as well. So this is a wonderful opportunity for you to prepare from the comfort of your home. If you ask me whether it is mandatory for you to attend any coaching classes, I would say, some kind of orientation and direction is necessary for you to prepare, because, so a few of you might be from engineering background, few of you might be from arts background. But what the exam demands is, it's a mix of a lot of humanities subjects, art subject. So some kind of orientation might be required. So in order to get that orientation, you'll have to get the guidance of some people who are in the industry already. And moreover, if you consider the competition that is existing in this examination, more than almost 10 lakh people, they apply for the examination, and around 5 lakh people, they appear during the prelims. Like 5 lakh, they just apply and they do not appear. So let's say 5 lakh is our strength of candidates for appearing during prelims. Out of these 5 lakh people, hardly 12,000 to 15,000 people, they are selected for the mains. And after the mains examination, around 3,000 people are called for the interview, out of which 1,000 candidates are selected in the final merit list. So if you look at the ratio, 10 lakh applications and 1,000 selections, it's like 1 in 1,000. So every 1 in 1,000, they make it in the final list. And even in those 1,000, only 180 candidates make it to the IAS, depending on the vacancies and the category to which they belong to. So this is the overall competition that exists in the UPSC civil services. But it is very much possible that with the right amount of hard work, with the right amount of dedication, if you work sincerely right from day one, it is very much possible that you will be able to clear it in your very first attempt. So I was fortunate enough to clear it in my first attempt. I graduated in 2016. So 1 year I was preparing. I appeared in the 17 exam, and I was fortunate enough to clear it. So I am live example for you guys to see that it is very much possible to clear the civil services in the very first attempt. So the only thing that is required would be your hard work, your dedication, and you'll have to stay motivated throughout the process. So after deciding when you're going to appear and where you're going to appear from, the next thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to decide on your optional subject, because optional subject plays a very crucial role in your ranking. And these days, the optional decides whether you make it to the finalist or not. So decide on your optional subject. So I've been recommending a 3-point strategy in order to decide the optional subject. The first and foremost would be your interest. So decide which subject interests you, and the second thing would be availability of resources. So see whether sufficient resources are available in the market for the optional subject that you choose. The third thing is to go through the previous year question papers. So once you go through the previous year question papers, you will get a rough idea as to whether that particular optional interests you or not, whether you're able to find sufficient resources for the optional to prepare. So based on these 3 points, you can decide your optional subject. So in recent times, there are optionals like political science, anthropology, sociology. So these optional subjects have been doing pretty well. And also go through, like, look at the trend over the previous years. And a few optional subjects, which are traditional, they have not been giving the desired marks in the recent years, but nothing is fixed. So if some optional interests you, you may very well go ahead with it, and also check whether you have the sufficient resources at your disposal before selecting this optional subject. And then after selecting the optional subject, you have decided on the institute also, whether if you want to go for an institute, you have decided for the institute also, and you have decided which year you are going to appear in. Next thing is you'll have to select your book list wisely. You'll have to choose which all books you're going to select read for a particular subject. Let's say for history, you're going through old NCERTs as well as Spectrum. Then that will be a book list for history. Similar, likewise for geography, economics, and so on. So the one thing is there is a lot of free advice available in the market. So there are n number of books available in the market, but you won't have sufficient time to go through all these materials. So you have 1 year in your hand, or planning to appear next year in 2021. You have 1 year in your hand. So within this 1 year, how effectively you will be able to go through so many materials is how you plan your preparation strategy. So it is best to keep your study materials restricted. So rather than going for a wide reading, you'll have to go for in-depth reading of material that you have in your hand. So rather than referring to 5 to 6 materials for history, I would recommend you go through restricted materials like one standard book, one NCERT. So one NCERT to build your basics, and a standard book to help you write answers, to help you equip yourself for the competitive exams. So 1+1 is the strategy: one NCERT plus one standard material. So if you go through these 2 books, in depth, if you perform multiple revisions over these two books, it is very much sufficient for you to clear the examination. And regarding notes making, I initially tried making notes for each and every subject, but you may end up not using those notes at a later stage. So see, if you are referring to multiple resources, it is better to make notes. You compile all the content into one single notes and keep revising the notes that you have made. Otherwise, if you feel that you're going to refer to a single resource for a particular subject, it is better that you make short notes in the book itself, and you keep revising those short marked notes in the book, so that you don't spend much time in making notes and then ending up coming back to the book itself. So if you are going for multiple materials, compile the material and revise the notes that you have made. Otherwise, you stick to the notes that you make inside your book itself, and then you can keep revising that. So, and during the initial days, you're allowed to experiment a lot. You experiment as much as possible. You can go through n number of books. You do whatever you want. You during the initial 2 to 3 months. But 100 days to prelims is when your crucial time period starts. T minus 100 days, you'll have to be serious, and there is no scope for errors during this T minus 100 time period. So once during the preparation, once you start the preparation, it is recommended that you follow a fixed timetable, and you'll also have to plan regular breaks within the timetable itself. It's not like you'll have to study for 15 hours, 16 hours every day in order to clear this examination, but a dedicated timetable with 10 to 12 hours or 12 to 14 hours is more than sufficient. And if you are planning to prepare along with your graduation or along with your job, it is recommended that you are able to spend at least 4 to 5 hours every day towards the preparation. So at least this much time is required for preparation, because considering the competition that exists today for the civil services, all the civil service aspirants are preparing. They're going to take a break, and they're going to prepare. So in order to cope up with them, so whatever time you're able to spend for the preparation, it has to be with utmost concentration and utmost dedication. And also it is very essential for you to take breaks in between. Let's say every Sunday you take a break, you go out for a movie, keep yourself free of all the stress, because it is a very long process. It takes at least 2 years, 1 year for the preparation if you are preparing after graduation, 1 year for the preparation and 1 year for the examination. The entire examination process is put in such a way that it tests your mettle. So in order to cope up with all the stress, it is very, very essential that you take breaks in between, and you keep in constant touch with your family and friends, so that it acts as a stress buster for you. And you are your own master in this entire strategy, because there is no one who is going to help you, or who is going to support you throughout. So you are your own master. You will have to strategize for yourself, and you decide what you're going to study. There is no one going to come and tell you you'll have to study history today, you'll have to study geography today. You are your own master in the process. You will have to decide what you're going to do today and tomorrow. So you'll have to have a fixed timetable. You'll have to have a detailed planning as to what you're going to do for the next 2 months, for the next 3 months, with sufficient breaks and cushion time in between. So regarding the prelims, the T minus 100 days very crucial time period. So in these 100 days, I would recommend that you solve at least 60 to 70 mock tests, because mock test is what is going to help you crack the prelims, because prelims being a competitive exam, and it's a MCQ type examination. There you're going to face 100 questions in the main paper. So it being a multiple choice question, you'll have to follow a strategy in order to clear the examination. So out of these 100 questions, most likely around 50 to 60 questions will be kind of easy, and the remaining 40-50 questions, it's going to determine whether you make it or break it. So to solve the remaining 50 questions, you can take it for granted you're going to get it done. The 50 questions, you're going to solve it. So the remaining 50 questions, how you're going to solve. So that strategy depends on how you practice before the prelims. Out of the 100 questions, some people, they attempt 90 questions, some people attempt 80 questions, some people 85 questions. So 80 to 90 is the range where every aspirant attempt would vary. So my strategy was to attempt 90 questions, and my hit ratio was like 70-20. I would get 70 correct and 20 wrong. Sometimes 72 correct and 18 wrong. My hit ratio was in this range. In order to identify this ratio, you'll have to solve at least 60-70 questions before you could decide on how accurate your answers are. So in order to analyze this accuracy ratio, it is very essential that you take up the mock test. So so I would recommend attempting at least 85 to 90 questions, so that being a competitive exam, some people are going to attempt all the 100 questions, attempt all 90 questions, even if they do not know the answer. And if they turn out to be lucky, they even make it to the list. I've seen a lot of examples during the prelims. So there are people who just randomly tick answers, and they still may end up making it to the mains list. And there are a few people who are very conservative. They attempt only 70 questions, 75 questions, thinking that their accuracy is much higher. But 70 questions would mean you have attempted only for 140 marks. So out of 140, even if 10-15 questions go wrong, you might end up in trouble. So it is safe that you attempt at least 80-85 questions, so that you end up in the safe zone. Again, after the mock test, what is to be done? After every mock test, you'll have to do an extensive test analysis. Test analysis is very crucial, because one thing is that you will start learning new points from the test analysis. So whichever question you have made a mistake, you would learn new points that which you would not have learned in your in the materials. Some questions would have come outside the material, and you would start learning new points. And you'll also have to analyze, if there are 4 options, one option is correct, and what about the remaining 3 options? Those 3 options would match to which question? What kind of question could be asked to match those 3 answers? So that instead of learning just one answer, you are going to learn the background behind the other 3 answers also. So your test analysis should be in such a way that even for the correct answers, you'll have to go to the all the other options and see whether what kind of questions could be asked for these 3 other answers. So this is how extensively you'll have to do the test analysis after each and every mock test that you take. And why is prelims conducted? What is the purpose behind prelims? Why can't they go right away to the mains, or why don't they conduct the interview altogether? Prelims, it's a screening process basically. So that is why there is a cutoff, and depending on the overall vacancy, they decide how many people have to be called for the interview, and based on the interview numbers, how many people will make it to the mains. So that is how it is decided. So let's say there are 1,000 vacancies, they generally call around 3 times the number for the interview, which is 3,000. So if 3,000 people have to make it to the interview, how many people should they call for the mains? They generally call 5 times, which is 15,000. So in order to screen the candidates, prelims is conducted. And again, the next stage, mains. Why is the mains conducted? So in the mains, they test your capacity to write, capacity to effectively understand a concept and write it precisely. So and again, once you come into the service, and once you go to the policy formulation stage, so you're going to work in the bureaucracy, and people are going to ask you for write-ups every now and then. So you can't write a 10-page document or 12-page document. So if you are recommending something to a honorable minister or someone, they're going to expect some short write-up from you. So even if there is a 100-page document, you will have to learn how to effectively concise it to a 200-word document or a 300-word document. So this idea went into testing it right from the civil service examination stage, and that is how mains is conducted. So mains you are required to concisely write for 200 words, 250 words, or 300 words. So this writing, it's a skill. So writing is a skill which you'll have to develop over a period of time. There is no one who will be able to write a perfect answer. Even the toppers, even All India rank 1, 2, 3, or whoever has made it to the list, none of their answers would be perfect. But you will have to write a very good answer, so that you are able to impress the examiner with your your thought flow. Whatever answer that you write, it has to have a very good flow of thoughts. It has to have a very good presentation. You believe me or not, even the UPSC civil services, even there, your presentation of answer, it matters a lot. So how neatly you're able to present, if you go through all the toppers answer scripts that are available online, you will be able to see how good they have been able to present their ideas. So again, within those 200 words, it is impossible for anyone to write all the points relevant to the question. So you'll have to decide which points you're going to present, which points are more relevant, which points are less relevant. And let's say, after your mains preparation, if there is a question in history or geography, you will definitely have 15 to 20 points to write there. But what makes the difference is which 5 points that you select out of those 15 to 20 points, which 5 points you select and how you present. You have to present with a diagram, you have to present with a flow chart. So such presentation plays a vital role in mains. And mains answer writing, I would recommend that you start once your basic content is fully you're comfortable with the basic content. Once you're comfortable with that, you go through the previous year question papers, start writing answers and get it reviewed by your peers or from your coaching institute. And it takes time. Over a period of time, you will definitely improve. It just needs a lot of practice. And I took up a mock test for mains only after the prelims, but for optional, I was preparing even before the prelims. So it is better to start early. So you start writing answers. Maybe the mains GS answer writing, if you find time before the prelims, well and good. You can do both GS and optional, well and good. Otherwise, still I would recommend that you complete your optional answer writing before the prelims, so that optional answer writing after the prelims is it's not difficult for you, because optional requires even more academic thought, academic knowledge for presenting your answers. So optional answer writing is a step higher than your GS answer writing. Because let's say I had political science optional and I am from an engineering background, I had no connect with political science altogether. So I took up a coaching in Delhi, and based on the notes given in the coaching institute, I slowly started writing. And you'll have to compete with people who are from that background. Let's say I had to compete with DU, JNU political science students also, because they would also take up political science as their optional, and I had to compete with all of them. So in order to compete with all of them, you will also have to write such an academic answer that the examiner should not find a difference whether you're from an engineering background or you're from a non-political science background. Your answer should be in such a way that it is so academic and well put out, so that it is able to compare and fare better when compared to the people from such similar backgrounds. So this has to be the strategy for mains. And extensive answer writing practice is the only way to hone your answer writing skills. There is no shortcut to it. And when you clear the mains and come to the interview stage, that is the most awaited and the most interesting stage in the entire civil services examination, because you start analyzing each and every concept in a totally in a new dimension. And you analyze the pros and cons for every issue. You start reading 2 to 3 newspapers, and there is no more writing required. There is no more problem solving required. You'll have to fill out a detailed application form in which you give details about yourselves. And uh, an analysis of the DAF itself, it requires a lot of introspection. So you'll keep thinking, you'll keep thinking whether this stand is correct for an issue, or you'll have to take a different stand, whether you'll have to take a pro-government stand or anti-government stand. So this entire thought process, it brings out your inherent personality. That is why it is called as the personality test. So they do not test your knowledge. They do not ask you the direct theoretical questions, but you have to be sufficiently equipped with the basic knowledge, because that is one way how they test your personality. And generally, there are 5 panelists in a interview panel. There is one chairman of the panel and one subject expert, one psychiatrist. So it's a panel which is full of variety, and they generally try to keep you very comfortable, and most of the panel members are very warm, and it's a very professional process. So before going for the interview, again you'll go through a series of mock interviews, so that you don't have that stage fear while speaking to a set of five new faces. So in order to make yourself comfortable, you'll go through a lot of mock interviews where again you'll be given inputs which would help you improve yourself. So that is how I met Ravi Kumar sir in Delhi. So sir has given me a lot of inputs during my preparation, during the interview, which has helped me get a very good score in the interview also. So this is the overall strategy that has to be followed, that which I followed. You can use this as a reference and you can devise your own strategy. And again, I have a few resources which I would like to share, and if you guys could mail me or you can touch with Ravi Kumar sir, I would share my book list also with you, so that you get an idea as to where to start from, in case you're starting anytime soon. So based on that, you can get in touch with me also. Sir will share my mail ID, or you can note it down. You're able to see my name here. So Keerthi Vasan IAS18@gmail.com. That is my mail ID. You can get in touch with me personally also, or through Ravi Kumar sir, as it is convenient for you. So this will be it. And if there are any questions, we can take it up and we can discuss further. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Keerthi. Really, it's an amazing experience being with you. ఇక్కడ మీతో అసలు మిమ్మల్ని కలవడానికి చాలా మంది చూడడం కోసం కొందరు వచ్చారు. చాలా మంది సీనియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ కూడా చాలా మంది జాయిన్ అయ్యారు. రియలీ ఇన్స్పిరేషనల్ పర్సనాలిటీ, ఇన్స్పిరేషనల్ వర్డ్స్. యూఆర్ లక్కీ ఎనఫ్, రైట్? యా. అయితే ఇక్కడ మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే చాట్ బాక్స్ లో రాయండి. I think Keerthi, can you see the chat box?
Yes, sir.
So that, right.
Yes, yes.
మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే యూ కెన్ టైప్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. మీరు ఆ చాట్ బాక్స్ లో రాయండి.
So what is your
Books
option
list?
I had political science as my optional subject. So did you join any coaching? Yes, I did join a coaching in Delhi. And yeah, newspaper. So I forgot about that aspect, sorry. So newspaper is a very, very crucial element during the entire preparation. So right from day one, you'll have to start reading the newspaper. During the initial days, you might take 2.5 to 3 hours to cover an entire paper, because during the initial time you might not know which article to read and which article to skip. So I would recommend that you have your prelims and mains syllabus printed, and stick it in front of your study table, so that every time you go through an article, try to link that article to a particular topic in the prelims and mains syllabus. So if you're able to link it, then it is essential, then it is required. And you can make notes accordingly. You can have separate notes for GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and make notes accordingly. So initially, even I tried making notes, but later on I started relying upon these monthly magazines given by institutes. So, but these monthly magazines are just a supplement. It's not your main course. Your newspaper is going to be your main course, and these monthly magazines will only supplement the newspaper reading, not substitute or complement it. So newspaper reading is highly essential, and you can refer to any standard newspaper. Mostly the Hindu is referred by most of the aspirants. But if you are comfortable with any other newspaper also, it is well and good. You can refer to it. But everyday reading is highly essential. And over a period of time, after 3 months, after 4 months, you will get a hold of it. You will understand which all topics to read, which all topics to skip. So after you get a hold regarding the newspaper reading, then you'll be able to complete the newspaper in 45 minutes to 1 hour. So this is how you will have to prepare for the newspaper. And which books are better for reference, I will share my book list with you. Shall I paste the Google link here, sir? I think that will be...
Yeah, then it's okay.
I will share the Google link. I have it in my drive. I will share it with you.
It's easy. Yeah. I'll send it, no problem, on WhatsApp. Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
okay, na?
Yes, sir. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'll
able
send.
to
I'll
paste it.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, yeah,
I've sent it to sir. Sir will
definitely.
send you a note, sir.
Right.
So I have shared my book list with you. So what is the next question? Where can we attempt the mock test? See, mock tests, there are a lot of institutes which offer mock tests to you. Maybe sir will also start offering mock tests. So I took up mock test in Vision IAS Academy. So their standard was good. And these days there are a lot of online mock tests also available. And most of the, so irrespective of which institute that you attend, I would recommend you take up the test series of 2 or 3 more other institutes so that you get a variety of questions. And every institute they'll be able to offer only 25 to 30 mock tests every year. So I was recommending 60 to 70 mock tests. So naturally you'll have to select mock test of other institute also to solve it, which is everything is available online and available in the market also. I have shared my resource list. Mail ID.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's getting posted or not.
Uh,
You can note it down.
okay, you can send to me on WhatsApp. I'll send to them all on the group.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, last 3 days, 3 days sessions, the speakers also gave their emails.
Okay.
Anukumari and Nilesh, Keshri, and everyone have given their own. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Which newspaper is better? Again, Hindu or Indian Express, like any newspaper would do. There is no specific newspaper, but I would recommend Hindu. Hindu, they give the details in a precise and neat way. So how to choose optional, we had discussed. I mentioned a 3-point strategy. So which book will you refer for economy? I've given it in the book list. See, for economics, I was in Vajiram for my preparation. So for economics, I was using their material, but other standard books would be Ramesh Singh or Shankar Ganesh. You can use any of this material. So that is what I was saying. So initial 2 to 3 months, you experiment as much as possible. You go through, multiple materials. You go through multiple reading materials, but finally fix on one particular material which you find is very comfortable, which is user friendly for you, which you feel would be useful for you to repeatedly revise. So such a material you'll have to experiment and find out, and then you can start referring to that. How many test series? Again, I told you 60 for prelims, at least 60 to 70 is required. For mains, you can take up one dedicated test series, which will have 12 to 14 tests. How much time is required to read NCRTs? Again, see, for all the subjects, there is one NCRT book which would help build your basics. Some people might suggest you to read NCRTs from class 6, some might tell you from class 9, some might tell you from class 11. So it depends on how comfortable you are with NCRTs. So if you are from a CBSE background, you can start from class 9. So if you are from your state board or matriculation background, you can start from class 6 also. But class 6, for our age, it will be very elementary, but you can, complete it off in 1 day or 2 days. So class 6 is going to be very easy for you. So class 6, 7, 8, you can complete it off in a week or two. But from class 9, you start making notes. Class 6, 7, 8 is just to give you the basics. It has very elementary information. From class 9, you will have this required information for the examination. So 9 to 12 books are essential. 6 to 8 books are just to prepare you. Does any question regarding graduation are asked in the interview? Definitely they will ask you, 1 or 2 questions from your graduation, especially, if there is a person sitting there from your graduation background. So you can think about this later on. Once you clear the mains, you will have sufficient time to prepare for the interview. You'll be given at least 2 to 3 months depending on your interview date. You will have sufficient time to prepare. So during that time, you can go back to your graduation subject. And again, the material is available for all that. If you're from engineering background, you will have a list of engineering based questions. So you can prepare for those questions afterwards. So if you are doing a graduation right now, I would recommend that you concentrate well on your graduation subjects also, because thinking that I'm going to appear in UPSC later, so I will not concentrate on my graduation now, that is not the right strategy. because even in UPSC all your marks would matter. Your 10th score, your 12th score, your graduation score, because that is what is going to give the first impression for the board. So if you have a very strong or a decent score background, it is just a additional advantage for you while facing the interview board. You just imagine yourself to be sitting there. There's a candidate coming for the interview, and there are two candidates. One candidate is giving you a very good 90% plus in 10, 12 and 8 or 9 point CGPA, and there is one more candidate who has come and who has 60-70% and who has 6.7 point CGPA, and both of them have equally prepared. They're equally good, and they have equally given the interview. So on what basis would you select? You'll have to select only one out of these two candidates. On what basis would you select them? So which candidate gave you a better first impression? So all these things matter. So if you are graduating now, it is better that you concentrate well, do your exams well, and maintain a decent CGPA. Or if you graduated already, it's well and good, no issue at all. You can still prepare, and this is just, it's going to play a very minor role. But I'm just focusing on the persons who are graduating now, so that they don't take the graduation very lightly. Next question. IPS officer, how many marks are required? See, again, it depends on your preference, your rank. So there are a lot of factors at play here. So there are people within the top 100 who choose IPS, IFS, IRS. Again, it's all a very complex process. It's like your college counseling. So depending on the rank, your category, and number of vacancies, your service will be decided. So if you want to be safe, being in the top 100, 105 this is a general trend. Generally, the trend would be top 100 to 105 ranks in the general category will go to the IAS and IFS. So after that, the IPS starts. If IPS has been your first option, then you will definitely get IPS if you're in the top 100 also. Otherwise, IPS would go from 105 to 180, 190. So that is how the split up is. Apart from academic subjects, how to cope up with optional. See, that is what you'll have to dedicate sufficient time during, if you're doing a graduation now. Evening times you'll have to be highly dedicated. You'll have to spend sufficient time reading for your preparation also. So there have been candidates who did not take up any coaching, who appeared right after the graduation. The very same year they have appeared, and they have cleared at the age of 21. So I cleared when I was 23 because I took 1 year for preparing. So there are people who take up a 3-year course, and they appear directly and do clear at the age of 21. So if they have been able to do it, definitely you will also be able to do it. Only thing is you'll have to spend a fixed number of hours every day towards the preparation. You'll have to spend at least 4 to 5 hours dedicatedly every day in order to cope up with the other people who are preparing from outside. How many papers you have to clear for the civil services? So let me explain the overall pattern. So in the prelims, you'll have 2 papers. One will be the general studies paper, where you'll have subjects like history, geography, economics, current affairs, and all that. The other paper is CSAT, which is civil services aptitude test. So both the papers are for 200 marks, and the general cutoff for the paper 1 would vary from 9900 to 110. So it is in this range depending on the toughness level of the paper. And the second paper is CSAT, in which you'll have to score 1/3 of the marks to clear the paper. So that is just a qualifying paper. So the marks that you score in the second paper is not taken for as during the cutoff, but you'll have to score a minimum of 1/3 of the total marks that is required. So in the mains, there are basically 4 GS papers, 1 essay paper, and 2 optional papers. So there are total of 7 papers in the mains, and all these papers are for 250 marks. And the overall score that you get out of all these papers, that is considered for your cut off for the interview. And again, in the mains, you have two language paper also, which is just qualifying in Excel, which is for 300 marks, and I think you'll have to score around 75 marks to clear the language papers. So this is the overall setup of the UPSC civil services. Someone here has asked, Hindu newspaper is being observed as anti-government, and this narrative was also the same. See, it is always good for you to know both the sides of the picture. So it is Hindu, like it has a little of left orientation, but they do not add much of masala to it. They just report things as it is, and the analysis is also good. Maybe Ravi Kumar sir could recommend you some other newspaper, but Hindu is what I refer to. And during the interview preparation, in order to get multiple aspects for an issue, I was referring to Hindu and Indian Express. So it is up to you to decide on the newspaper that you're going to follow.
Yeah, actually we have a Telegram channel, so that if you join there, we will give you what is the neutral news, what is the important news for the prelims and mains and interview also, case studies for ethics also. We are identifying the daily live examples, incidents. So we are giving mains and prelims questions. You must utilize that. I think అది ఫ్రీ అండి కదా. యా, ఇటువంటివి మీ ముందు ఉన్నవి ఫ్రీగా ఉన్నవి యూజ్ చేసుకోండి వెపన్స్. ఇలా సార్ వచ్చినప్పుడు చక్కటి క్వాలిటీ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగండి. ఓకే, ఇంకా సీనియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఉన్నారు, మీరు కూడా క్వాలిటీ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగి దాన్ని ఉపయోగించుకోండి ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్, ఈ యొక్క అకేషన్ని. ఓకేనా? యా, సింపుల్ గా ఏదో కోచింగ్ ఎక్కడ ఏంటి ఇలాంటివి కాకుండా. ఓకే, యా, నైస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రసాద్. ఐ థింక్ రైట్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ స్ట్రాటజీ అనేది ఏది ఉండదు అని చెప్పి సార్ ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పారు. మళ్ళీ మీరు సార్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ స్ట్రాటజీ అని అడిగితే అక్కడ మనకు 1000 మంది సెలెక్ట్ అయితే 1000 మందికి డిఫరెంట్ స్ట్రాటజీస్ ఉంటాయి. యూ కాంట్ ఫాలో సింప్లీ వన్ పర్సన్, వన్ టాపర్ బికాస్ హీ ఈజ్ ఏ టాపర్. అర్థమైందా మీకు? టాపర్ కాని పర్సన్ స్ట్రాటజీ అతనికి సూట్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు. అతను టాపర్ కాలేదు కాబట్టి అతని స్ట్రాటజీ రాంగ్ అని మనం చెప్పలేము. అతను కూడా బాగా ట్రై చేసి ఉండవచ్చు, రైట్? సో దాట్ యా, మీరు టాపర్స్ అందరు ఇస్తున్న ఇన్పుట్స్ తీసుకోండి, ఒక మంచి మీకు సూట్ అయ్యే ఒక స్ట్రాటజీని డెవలప్ చేసుకోండి, రైట్? మనం ఏదో పులిని చూసినాక వాతలు పెట్టుకున్నట్టుగా అంటారు కదా, యూ షుడ్ నాట్ డూ దాట్. మనకు వీక్నెస్ ఉంటుంది, మనకు స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఉంటుంది, ఏ సబ్జెక్టు ఎలా ఉంది దాని తగ్గట్టుగా మనం ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవాలి. అంతేగాని టాపర్ హీ ఫోకస్డ్ ఓన్లీ ఆన్ పాలిటీ, సో ఐ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ ఓన్లీ పాలిటీ సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ స్కోర్ మోర్. నో, డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ యూ. మీరు ఎస్ఏ రైటింగ్ లో బాగుంది అనుకోండి, మీరు ఎస్ఏ రైటింగ్ బాగా రాయండి. మిగిలిన వాటిలో ఎక్కడ మీకు వీక్ అనుకుంటారో వాటిని కొంచెం స్ట్రెంత్ పెంచుకోండి, రైట్? యా, కీర్తి, కంటిన్యూ.
Yeah, there's one question: is engineering subject as optional beneficial? See, even I was considering engineering optional during the initial stage because I had a good CGPA during college also. So it is definitely good. You will get a very good score with an engineering optional. But the caveat is that you should be really good in your engineering subject. You should have a very good understanding of the questions. The questions would be equivalent to the toughness level of GATE examination. So again, these days resources are available. During my preparation, I was not able to find the resources, so the resources point was not fulfilled for me. And one more thing is, optionals like political science, sociology, public administration, they would help you a lot in answering your GS questions also. So the concepts that you read in these optional subjects, it would come in your GS answer writing also. And I was able to use my political science thinkers concepts in ethics answer writing. So you'll have to see this linkage between GS and GS and your optional subject, so that it is beneficial both ways. But if you still feel that your engineering knowledge is very good, you have an interest towards engineering, you can definitely take it up, which engineering optional also does give you very good scores in the mains examination. how to maintain a balance between prelims and mains. See, there are a few subjects which are exclusively mains oriented. Let's say like ethics comes only in the mains, and disaster management, it comes only in the mains. So you'll have to segregate the topics which are exclusive mains and the other topic which overlaps between, which is common for both prelims and mains. So the topics which are common for both prelims and mains, you can prepare it together, and it will the same content will apply for prelims also, and using the same content you can start practicing your answer writing also. The content which is exclusive for mains, what I did was I prepared everything before prelims, but I did not start answer writing then. So I started answer writing for those exclusive mains content after the prelims, so that my there is no confusion between my prelims come mains topics as well as the exclusive mains topic. So accordingly, you'll have to segregate. You see what is the common topic between prelims and mains. You prepare that together. You develop your foundational knowledge over that, and you start practicing both the prelims and mains answer writing for those topics alone before the prelims. And exclusive mains content, you can keep it for post prelims, and before the mains, you can start answer writing for those exclusive mains content. So regarding the books, I'm skipping those questions because I've shared my. I think this time I was able to send it. I've sent this thing. Paper 6 and 7 are optional. So do we have to select two optionals? No, there is one optional with two papers. So there will be one optional subject. There will be paper 1, paper 2 of that optional subject. How many years of current affairs is required? Again, there is no fixed time period, but the general convention being followed is 1 year from the date of examination. Let's say if your prelims is to happen, if you are appearing in this October wala prelims, again 1 year before, October to October or September 2019 to October 2020. So that 1 year cycle is what you'll have to cover. Is it okay to start preparing after graduation from foundation? Yes, most of the people do that, but if it is anyways better to start early. So if you find time, if you have decided to prepare only after graduation, at least you'll have to start your newspaper reading and cover the basic NCRTs when you are in college, so that you need not start from scratch once you graduate. So at least do this basic newspaper, develop the habit of newspaper reading, because once you start, it is going to take you 2 to 3 hours to cover a newspaper, so that by the time you graduate, you are comfortable with newspaper reading, so that you could save much time in preparing for the other subjects. There's one more question here. Many people prefer Delhi for coaching rather than Hyderabad. Why? See, traditionally Delhi has become a hub for civil service preparation, but these days again they have institutes in Delhi have also started decentralizing themselves. They are opening institutes in all the major cities. So earlier there were no resources, but right now resources are available everywhere. So if you can, if you don't have the sufficient resources to go to Delhi, well and good, you can prepare from Hyderabad only. No, sir is also starting an academy there.
Actually,
So,
here I want to convey that same Delhi faculty is teaching from Delhi through our channel, our academy.
Right.
Our faculty are from Delhi only. The
Mm.
top institutions where you want to go, the same faculty is going to teach you here, right?
Mm.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever that you can choose, you have the freedom. Okay, we are just providing the platform to decide your preparation platform. Okay, now no problem, right? Yeah.
The major reason being, faculty in Delhi, they understand the competition very well. They were able to equip the students well. And if they are able to provide coaching from Hyderabad, it's well and good that you could do it from the comfort of your home. So what type of questions will be asked in interview? Again, I will share my interview transcript also. It is available online also. You can check for, you can check my name on Mrunal website. So I've given all the details there. How to write answers daily. So you take up one question, 1 or 2 questions every day. So initially, while writing answers, you might find it difficult the first 2 to 3 times. You will take more than 15 to 20 minutes to write a single answer. But in the examination, you won't have the luxury of time, because you'll have to complete every answer in say 6 to 7 minutes, depending on the word limit. So initial days it's fine. While practicing, it's fine. So collect all the points. You can do it like an assignment also. You take up a question, collect the relevant points for that, and try to frame an answer. And again, go through toppers answer scripts which are available online, so that you get an idea as to how they have approached mains questions. So start writing slowly. Take your own time. Write 2 to 3 questions every week. So have weekly targets of 3 to 4 questions. So slowly over time, with sufficient practice, you'll be able to do it.
11, 10.
Should we close?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have any other queries, you can mail it to me, or you can contact me through Ravi Kumar sir. So thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity. Thank you all for listening very patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Keerthi Vasan. Yeah, we are all Telugu students, Andhra and Telangana students. Definitely are here benefited by this session. And yeah, thank you.